Hello, YFFR Honor listeners. This is podcast producer Maya coming to you with a slightly different episode format this week. We are bringing an episode back from the vault, all the way back to Season 1, Episode 25 of this podcast, over 50 episodes ago. This episode featured Eric and Olivia having a conversation with Peggy Cash, one of our early YFFR instructors who completed our Instructor School Bridge Course, ISBC, which is now better known as our Virtual Instructor School. We thought it would be a fun way to take a look back on an early episode, but with a new lens, to see how much YFFR has grown, how much our programs have adapted, and how far this podcast has come. So we hope you enjoy this quick cast of highlights from Peggy Cash's ISBC journey.
Welcome to Quickcasts from Yoga for First Responders. I'm Eric Brenneman, and in these bite-sized episodes, we'll bring you quick insights and practical tips on the power of yoga, breathwork, mindfulness, and meditation specifically for first responders. Whether you're on a quick break or between calls, we've got a nugget of wisdom to help you stay resilient and focused. Let's dive right in.
So first, tell us how you knew ISBC was a thing.
I do. I had, I think you have seen, or certainly in my application, I'm a law enforcement family, right? My husband's a sergeant. I have many relatives, who are in law enforcement. I'm part of that community. And once we were invited to a seminar all around resiliency, right? We hear that over and over. It's been a buzzword for some time, but it was actually extended to family members. And that was the first time family had been invited to something like this. So we went, everybody went. And the speaker at the time was talking about some of those statistics that, I now know, but some of those were the first time I had heard those statistics, like, the critical incidents that first responders have, that for most of us, we only have one or two, hope in a lifetime, and they experience hundreds of them. And some of those things like really struck home. I certainly seen it. I certainly know it, but hearing about it and the impact on the body and all, everything that everyone has to do to combat that really hit home, right? And one of the things that it was Dan, he was the speaker. One of the things that he had mentioned was yoga. Well, I've practiced yoga for years, just on my own, just practicing, going to classes wherever and however I can. And I'm like, oh, yeah, yoga, of course, my heart, my ears all, perked up. I'm like, of course it's yoga. That was the perfect thing. I'm like, I wonder if that's something that I can share my experiences with yoga with some of my family and friends and how I can give back. I actually was not a yoga teacher at the time. So I went from there and got my 200-hour with the intent of sharing this with first responders. But going through the 200 hours, we all have different experiences with our 200-hour teacher training, the yoga training, because it's not regulated. There's,
not well anyway.
It's all over the place, right? When I ended up at a studio that was very, very grounded, don't get me wrong, but you touch on subjects, right? You kind of like touch on it, and it's very much centered around forms and stuff, but not really, even though it's teacher training, you're not really teaching. And I couldn't quite figure out, like, how would I teach this to my first respect, to my husband? I have one here right here to practice on. And it was like, some of the words that you use, the Sanskrit and all of that, the, gaze over your shoulder, just like that soft, some of those, anyone that's been to a yoga class knows what I'm talking about, right? There's just some of that there. And I couldn't quite do it. So I Googled, yoga for first responders. And that was how I found yoga for first responders.
I told you in the beginning of this conversation that I'm all about efficiency now and getting things automated and streamlined so we can scale and do more. And we're doing that a lot. Most of our courses are, completely automated. You do them on your own and et cetera. But I am not going to budge on this with ISBC, that we have human to human contact and support, because going through this course does not guarantee certification or licensing. you know?
Yes.
That's a big thing. Like, because so many courses are just on automatic, like click, 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 pass. Here's your certificate. Go on.
You
Be a
you know
member.
what? Yeah, and that meant a lot too. I think that was like our first module or week. I don't know what we're calling them, week one or module one, but the very beginning, we talked about this being a non-for-profit and what that meant. We talked about the protocol, the licensing, some of the ground rules, right, that we all need to do and agree to. And I think that meant a lot to me. I was starting to feel like, even at that point, like a little more like, oh my gosh, I'm really going to be part of something here. This is, and then when you see all across the country, and then we even have students in that hub who are not
Oh yeah,
United
we
States,
have
right?
Israel, we
Yeah.
have
I was like,
Amsterdam,
I was
Belgium.
blown away.
Belgium.
Yeah. It's like, wow, this is really, part of something. And
Yeah.
so I'm very proud to be going through this. I think
Oh,
it's
I
a great curriculum.
you just made my night because that's exactly like I literally have chills because that's exactly what I hope. I want everyone to feel accomplished, know that this is an exclusive instructor network and you have to meet milestones to be able to be part of it because that's how high we hold our standard of instructor because that's how much we hold, how high we hold our curriculum and our approach, and we think very highly of it, and we want to make sure it is here for the long haul, and
Yeah.
that's going to be on the shoulders of our instructors. We know we have hundreds across the country and now the world. We want everyone to feel comfortable when a YFFR instructor walks in the room. If anyone's thinking about doing this, it's a lot of hours, but what would you say, like, how did you schedule those hours? What was the best way for you to get your work in?
Oh, it was easy to do, right? Once we got the feel of it, right? The feel of the rhythm of like the classes, video, and then reading, answering the questions. I just scheduled time every day. And I think we even covered that in one of our modules of personal excellence, right? Is
Mhm.
how do we approach this and how do we make sure we are on target with our training? I think I did like in the mornings. I did some in the mornings and then in the evenings as well, because I do have a day job,
Right, right.
So it wasn't hard at all to fit it in.
No, that's good because that is a lot, that people have been asking. So yeah, in the morning and those are the best two times to study. I don't know if you know that, but if you study first thing in the morning or right before you go to sleep, your brain can digest. And when you
Mm.
first wake up, you're in that kind of alpha theta state of absorption before you actually turn on the prefrontal cortex and you're in the real world. So
Yeah.
those are two great times to study, just in general, whether you are in middle school or you are doing ISBC. Those are two
Mhm.
great times to study.
Olivia was kind of teasing into this question. I'm going to drive it all the way home. So, random strangers on the Instagrams, they see our latest ad for the next cohort for 002 for
Mhm.
ISBC, and they're on the fence.
Mhm.
What do you tell them? You just went through it. What do
Oh,
you
just
what
ask.
do you tell
Yeah.
them?
Oh, definitely do it. And if you are on the fence, look at the instructors, reach out like I did. I felt after talking to some of the instructors through email, very willing to share their own experience so that I felt more comfortable in committing to the training. Um, it's absolutely worth it. Some of it's intense. But it is at your own pace and you can get through it. And I think that being part of this, if that's your calling and your help, yoga for first responders obviously is something that would be near and dear to your heart. If you are Googling this or looking this up or considering it, then absolutely do it.
Hey, before we go, I want to remind you that training your mental and physical health is incredibly important, especially for those working in high-stress jobs like first responders.
And if you're interested in learning more about yoga for first responders, visit yogaforfirstresponders.org for our on-demand training app, online course platform, in-person training, and more.
Like this podcast, subscribe, and give us a great review. We are so happy to have you part of the YFFR mission.